I'm really very grateful for this opportunity, and I want to thank and appreciate our own family head, Brother Ishmael Tete, Auntie Joanna, the new head of mission and the management, my own brother, Questos, the new general secretary, and the entire church. I'm really very grateful for this opportunity to be invited to be part of your Women's Month. And I'm also very happy to note the 50th anniversary theme, Conscious Living, Conscious Evolution, the new you in the new era. And my prayer is that by the time we finish the presentation, we would have ignited more consciousness and also a new you taken to another dimension. Praise the Lord. So I was given a lot of things to look at. I've just structured them in a way. So we are looking at today's woman, promoting gender equality and empowering all genders in various roles. Often when we want to talk about gender and women, then the men leave themselves out. So that's why in the topic, please men, we are reading all genders, including you as well. Amen. So we'll look at a small history of the International Women's Day, since this is within the context of the International Women's Day. We'll define some concepts and then look at some strategies for enhancing gender equality in workplaces and the communities, balancing gender roles effectively, best practices for promoting gender equity in education, employment, and leadership. And then we'll do a focus on leadership. It's my prayer that all of us will desire to occupy leadership positions. So objectives, as I said, to create awareness on gender issues, and then to enable, and then for us to see that we are in a people-centered environment, not just women. When we talk about gender, we are actually talking about people. So we are talking about people. So when we situate the gender within the context of people, then it makes us to appreciate what gender equality is all about. And it is also to enable us, as I said, become better versions of ourselves. And then the men to dwell with girls, women, daughters, sisters, workmates, and wives in knowledge. Hello? And the foundations. When we look at Psalm 39:12, it says, "Hear my prayer, O Lord, and listen to my cry for help. Do not be silent to my tears, for I am a stranger with you, one who lives abroad like all my fathers." Sadly, there are many more women and girls who are crying than those who are not crying. My prayer and expectation is that by the time we finish this presentation, those who are crying will cry no more. And then those who are not crying will also help those who have been crying to stop the crying. Amen. When we look at 2 Peter 3:7, it said, "Dwell with wife in knowledge and give honor to her as a weaker vessel." So men, my prayer is that we'll be very attentive. So at the end of the day, we will know how to dwell with our daughters, our girls, our sisters, our wives, according to knowledge. And then Psalm 68:19, "Blessed be the Lord who daily loads us with benefits, even the God of our salvation." A lot of us know new mercies for the day, but God also loads us with benefit every day. Every day. So today, that we are looking at today's woman, let us realize that the Lord will load us with benefits. Amen. According to his word. So the history of International Women's Day, and I'll be very snappy with a lot of the presentations, but since you have the slides, you can look at the slides more critically afterwards. So I want to say that the International Women's Day started as women fighting for their rights, for equal pay at the workplace. People fought all the way from the 1900s. People were fighting. The Women's Day was first organized February 28, 1909 in New York by the Socialist Party. By one person, just one person, Theresa McKell, just one person. So you should also tell yourself, I can also start something. I can also do something. The trees have a saying, we say, men bo abofia. Is that right? Don't think you are insignificant. Don't think so. Just one person started what today we are celebrating as International Women's Day. So then, so this was in the US. Then the socialists in Europe also decided, hey, if the Americans have done, let us also get onto the bandwagon. So in August 1910, they also organized an International Women's Conference. Just 100 delegates from 17 countries. Just 100. And then 3 from Germany were those who actually initiated that, let's start an annual Women's Day. Just 3 people. To promote women's voting, child subsidies, and equal pay. Today, when the women go to vote, we shouldn't take it for granted, though. People fought for women to vote. People fought. You two, what are you fighting for? We should be fighting for something. All right. And this is the woman, the American woman, who first started the idea of women's conference to a movement for their rights. And that's Theresa. And she was just a factory worker. A factory worker. When you go to the industrial, you see a lot of women there, maybe packing things. And a factory woman later became a union leader because of her actions and activism. And these are the 3 Germans who started the idea that let's have an annual day that we will look at women's issues. And then I believe a lot of people know about the Rosa Parks' refusal to stand for white people in a bus in America. At that time, and this was just 1955, just 1955, 1st December, that if a black person is seated in a bus and a white person comes and the seats are full, the black should get up for the whites. And then she refused. At a point, she refused. We are all equal. I'm not going to get up for a white man or a white woman to sit down. Rosa Parks. And that started the civil rights movement in the US. Don't think that you are insignificant. You look at the picture of a woman sitting in a bus and say, I'm not standing. If it will start a whole civil rights movement. So please, we can all do something. We can all do something. And then 1948, the UN did the documents on human rights. Everybody should have rights and enjoy some rights. rights irrespective of your sex, whether you are a man, a woman, young, old. You should enjoy some rights. But then in the 1960s, it was like the women's movement was being forgotten. And then one person, Laura X, organized a march in 1969 to revive the activism. And that led to the Women's History Month in the US. Just one person. Just one person. You can also do something. You can also do something. And then in 1975, the UN declared the International Women's Day for the member states to set one day to look at women's issues. And then in 1970s, they just opened it up for all the member states. Just choose one day, according to your traditions and customs. But finally, they all chose the March 8th to celebrate the International Women's Day. And I must congratulate all of you for observing the Women's Month. Yeah. I'm really very happy that you are observing a whole month for women. So the International Women's Day 2025 is looking at equal rights, opportunities, and power for all women and girls. All women. Like the NPP is saying, you touch the mighty minority. You touch one, you touch us all. It's the same philosophy that we should have as women. You touch one woman, you've touched all women. You touch one girl, you've touched all the women and all the girls. And that's a sort of consciousness that we should have. And so for this year, they are expecting women to be part of the digital revolution. Don't say that, as for me, I don't know anything about internet, about IT, about this. Have you realized that now you can't even go to the ECG to go and make payments? Have you realized that? When you want a passport, you will not go anywhere, but you have to go to your phone or something digital. So please, let us all get involved. Me too, I'm learning something. I'm learning. I'm looking forward to the day that I won't have to call this my friend here to come and help me. I'm also learning. We are all learning. We need to learn. We need to learn. And if your English is not that wow, there are places that you can go to sharpen your English, because you need the English words so that you can do these digital things. School is not just for children, it's for all of us, irrespective of your age. Zero violence, no violence against any girl or any woman. Freedom from poverty. Nobody should be poor. Nobody. Nobody should be poor. So please, if we have some poor people around us, let's see what we can do to get them out. Looking at peace and security. Peace and security. And one secret I want to share with you. You realize that a lot of the people who are making us, endangering our security, are people who have come from broken homes, people who grew up all by themselves, and later they become a danger to you. They don't understand why you are living a comfortable life. So they want to come and forcefully take some of the things that you have. Let us show interest in all those people for our collective good. Decision-making power. We should all participate. A lot of the time, problems with women, you have to crow them before they talk. Oh no. That thing should be a thing of the past, please. When you are called to any meeting, share your views. Share. Say something. But go. The women have not said anything, no. Oh, why? I hope we are stopping that behavior. We are all stopping. And then climate justice. You see, this last week or so, the rate at which people's roofs are being moved. Even with the slightest rain. And even when you watch TV, you see a lot of things happening. because of the changes in the climate, we all have to show some interest. So what are these rights? Time will not permit us, but there are so many of them. But in summary, right to freedom, right to education, right to peace, humanity, right to safety, right to justice, dignity, human dignity, hope and equality. Later, we can all go and it's on the internet. When you look for it, you find it, then you can read the details. So what then is gender? And what is the status of Ghanaian women today? We have spoken from the 1900s what women were doing. So today, what will we say is our situation as Ghanaian women, as women of Ethereal Mission International, based in the headquarters. Time will not permit us to really answer these questions, but maybe if God provides, at another time we can come and then we can do more interactive sessions. But let's march forward. Let's march forward. In the picture, you see everybody, the young, the old, even pregnant women, people in wheelchairs. We are all moving forward. Nobody should be left behind. So there are some terms that we know, but we need to have a better understanding of them. So then what is gender? When you look at the picture on what is gender, you will see various animals. Can we go to that slide on what is gender? Yeah, this one. You see different animals. By one exam, climb the tree. When you look at the types of animals, from the monkey, for instance, with one leap, it's on the it's on the tree already. Look at the fish in the bowl. When it's out of the water, that's the end of life. That's the end of life. And then look at that one, like the squirrel that will move on the ground like this. What time will it get to the tree? So doing gender is actually to look at the distinct issues of the people and planning for them. So you see that the other side of the picture, you see a plate provided. Look at the speed of the dog to go and eat the food. And look at the bird struggling to get to where the plate is. But when you look at the second picture, you also see the bird standing whilst the dog is just eating. But the last one, you will see that something like a bowl has been provided for the bird. So whoever is making the provision of food is thinking that the bird has a beak. So a particular vessel is prepared for the bird. And that is what it means to do gender. Distinct interests, distinct characteristics of the people. And these are the things that will inform our planning and our programming. People are different. Men are different. Women are different. Girls are different. Boys are different. People with disabilities, different. So we look at all these differences to do our planning. And then when we look at the picture with the tracks, this life, the tracks are our life journeys. But see the items on the tracks of the woman. So many things to think of whilst on that journey. And then with the men, they don't have anything. So they are going with speed. We thank God that these days there are some new crop of men that are changing. And helping with the household chores. Please, those who are doing, congrats. Do more. Congrats. Do more. Congrats. And those who are not, it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. And you realize in one program that I had in a basic school some decades ago, the men said, some men said, as for me, I help my wife in the house. So there's harmony. There's harmony. You have no idea what's happening in that house that there's harmony. And the men who are saying, Kotobonku, the woman has jujued him, this, that, laughing at them, go and check their house. Go and check the temperature there. So at the end of the day, it's your home. It is your home. Amen? So please, let's know that there are roles to be performed in the house, okay? Then one thing we also need to understand, sex roles. When we talk about sex roles, we are talking about the abilities that God has given us because of our physiology or our body makeup. The women have breasts so they can breastfeed the babies. They have wombs so that they can deliver the children. The men also have gadgets to make the woman pregnant. Okay? they make the woman pregnant, but they don't have the breast to take care of the initial feeding of the children. So those ones are sex rules determined by whether you are a male or a female. All other roles are determined by the society. All others are determined by the society. And they can change with time. So please, don't let us be growing up and saying, where they are emerguma. No, what you are saying is emerguma. It's not emerguma in some other community. Emerguma. Some of the talks I had when I went to the north, that a man will not go fetch water. No. It's the woman who should go and fetch the water. So even when he wants to bath, you wait for the woman to come and fetch water. Say, some people are really enjoying somewhere. Oh my God. When we talk about gender equality, so looking at what we have discussed, it's about equal rights, responsibilities, opportunities for everybody, control and access. Control and access. One example that I like giving, like the government giving outboard motors to the fishermen, and giving what to the women? Giving what? The fishers, the women. What are they giving? Normally giving? Nets. And their basins. And their basin. But look at the cost of outboard motor. As compared to the cost of the nets and the basin. Far from equality. Far from equality. So these are some of the things that we should really consider. And when we talk about gender equity, we are talking about fairness. What we are doing, is it fair? Is it fair to the men, fair to the women? Fair to the girls, fair to the boys? They are big terms, but they are not. It's just about fairness. Okay? And then doing gender, it's also a science. It's a science. A lot of the time we just say, gender, you are a woman, so go. No. It is a science. And we need to use sex disaggregated data. We need to use gender disaggregated data, which means that you are doing a certain research that will tell you what is happening so far as the men are concerned, so far as the women are concerned. So please, just being a woman is not gender. It is not gender. There are some men who are even more gender responsive or sensitive than even the women themselves. And we also use indicators to measure what is happening. So I'm just emphasizing the point that doing gender, if you want to do gender in the church, it's about research, it's about data to inform our planning and our programs. And then women's empowerment is actually putting in processes that will empower a woman. There are two types of empowerment: meeting practical needs and strategic needs. Practical needs is just the basic things of life: food, shelter, and the like. That's practical. But often for empowerment, we want strategic interest met. Strategic in the sense that the women can participate in leadership. They can also influence change. Influence change. So when we are doing something and it's just meeting just the basic needs of the woman, please, that is at the lowest base of women's empowerment. So I know that this church, as we try to empower women, we are looking at their opportunities for the capacity to participate, make decisions, and also influence change. We can do it, isn't it? We can. So gender responsiveness is actually doing a gender program that will try and remove the barriers to the women. You can do a program without looking at the root causes of the problem. My prayer is that whatever program we are doing for the women, we'll look at the root causes of the inequalities and the unfairness, and then try and tackle them as well. Then these days we have gender mainstreaming that's coming up. That is actually integrating the distinct priorities, needs of women and men, girls, boys, into every aspect of what we are doing. Every aspect of what we are doing. So it makes gender cross-cutting. Whatever we are doing in our planning, in our monitoring, whatever. Quite recently, I was in the ministry to do a program, and some of the staff complained that, even sometimes when they are going for trek, 2 days notice. Call. What happens to those who have younger children? What happens? So give the person enough time. There are some organizations that will even encourage people to come with nannies. So the nanny can take care of the children during the program, and then the women also participate in the program. And these are some of the things that we should look at. There are workplaces that have nurseries. There is one architect's office that even has a salon. In Accra here, has a salon in the office structure. Great. We can do all things. Through Christ who strengthens us, we can do all things. So talking about gender, it's not just about us. There's a whole national gender policy to push for the empowerment, and then the empowerment, and then the equality. There's a whole gender policy. Now it is being revised. New areas are being put in. So what we are doing now is within the framework of the country. It's not out of place. And now you also know that the Affirmative Action Act has been passed. So now law, we have to comply. Whatever we are doing, 30% from 2024 to 2026. When we are setting up meetings, do we have 30% of women in the membership? These are things that we need to work with. And if you are running programs, at least we don't have 30% of the women. What do we do to encourage more women to come? Intentional. about these things. And then a minimum of 35% from 2027 to 2028. And then by 2029 to 2030, we should have 50-50. So the women, please, when you are being called, respond. I said what? Respond. And as we go down, we'll go and see why we also need to respond. And also be mindful of the things that prevent us from going for the programs and participating. So strategies that we can use. One is to implement gender diversity training programs and to enhance the understanding of gender issues in the workplaces. Foster a culture of respect and equality. And then empower all individuals through education and training. We need a lot of training like we are doing now, and I really salute the church for this opportunity. So strategy 2, we need to promote equal and fair pay for women and men. By law in Ghana, we should have equal pay, equal work for women and men. But there are some places that there are some subtle arrangements. So one sex is getting more than the other. Please participate. There are times that they would want to get the women out, but you too find out and participate. They are going for trek. Say, oh, as for me, the children, so I can't go. They go for the trek, they get the per diem, they get exposure. They are learning more things about the institution. And then when it comes to promotion and the like, and you are being asked questions, then you can answer. Please. So those who are going and making themselves available, when they are also being promoted, we say, why? And we all came together. We came together. When you were being called, oh, my child is sick. Mind this, mind that. I beg you. I beg you, Create supportive networks for women's advancement. One person will not be able to do it. But when we have the associations and the networks, so cherish the networks. And let's make our networks also safe to be in. Every time then, we are oh, I beg. Let's make safety for the networks to work. Oh my God. So balancing gender roles effectively, our career, our family, leadership, community life, and well-being. I've cited some of the instances already. I like this picture. Women's attitudes to gender roles. Look at the things that a woman is carrying. She's carrying education, her business, her family roles, community, the domestic chores. And then the men, I admire her strength. And for some of us women, we are so happy. When we are doing all these back-breaking things, and then the one who says, hey, my rest is essential for me. So as for me, I'm going to take some rest. Then we brand that person as being lazy. Please. You will not go very far if you are carrying all this load. You will not. Let's encourage mentorship to aspire, particularly the younger women, for leadership. And let's foster initiatives that will promote women's voices in leadership. I've spoken about this. So our own attitudes. There are some women who think that, by doing these things, then they are the better wives. No. There's a book that says what wives wish husbands knew before they married and what husbands wish they knew before marriage. And one thing that I picked from that book for the men, said like in the evening they've had a meal and let's just sit down and chat. The woman wants to go and do the dishwashing. Hey, what is more important to you? Having a chat, relaxing with your husband and having a chat, and the dishes to be washed. What is more important? So there are some of the things that we really need to realign ourselves. Realign. Then when the men are going out, we say, hey. So please, let's do some new consciousness and a new evolution of some of the things. For some, we have been training it, brought up. So that's what we know. But we are saying that let us look at the things, the things we need to change, let's change them. Let's change them. And let's learn to say no. Let's learn to say no. We will not have time to discuss some of these questions. To what extent do women value or prioritize their own lives? Their own lives. I was in a program last week outside Accra. And we had a conversation and it's like, the stress is so much. A young lady having back pains and spending so much time at the physio. So I asked, I said, what is your Sunday afternoon like? What do you do? She just smiled. I said, what do you do? I said, where we are coming from. Even when I was growing up, Sunday afternoon, after church, everybody eats and sleeps. And sleeps. That's the lifestyle in the house. So when I grew up, I went with that. But that's a Sunday that people are demanding fufu. Even these days, you can make some bankun with so much cassava dough that you can just swallow, Kana blofonyo ake uflifio. Or do some kokonte, some fast kokonte, it's still swallowable. It's not the tin, that's the only thing that you can swallow. So please, there are some things that we need to change. Create time for family rest. Even God rested. So the things that we need to change, please, let's change them. And then we need to encourage the men to participate in caregiving roles. Please, men, are you here? Let's participate. It's our own home. We are the heads of the family. God in his wisdom made us heads. So if the union is weak or sick, it's also the men. It shows your leadership. We beg you. Yeah, they are your children. There are some places say, hey, the children are mine. The children are yours and you will not participate. Oh, please. We beg you. And when they are doing them, please don't let us load all the things on them. Because that's one of the things they cry. Say, the moment you start to help, that's when they will be increasing. Please. When you come and they've done something, appreciate them. When there's food in the house, heat. Warm the food. And say, because you were not in, I have done this, I've done that, come, let's eat. Ask the children to do something. Maybe there's some stew. Do we put on rice or this or that? Please. Let's show more action in the caregiving. Support women's leadership in communities. In our communities, let's encourage women who are taking leadership. Let's encourage them. What can I do to support you? Even having a chat. How are things going? You offer your small counsel. I'm not using the word advice. Counsel. And showing interest will also make them to feel that they are being appreciated. And let's also encourage mentorship in the workplace, at the church, wherever we are. People need skills. People need capacity building. Let's do mentorship. And the young women here, I beg you, if you have an older woman who is interested in you and wishes to mentor you, say thank you. Some people are looking for, they don't get. Getty, no want. Wanty to, no get. So please, and when they say something, just cherish them and go with them. Go with them. That's when you learn. That's when you learn. I had an experience in one of the government institutions, I will not mention the name, where the woman said, oh, I wish to support. There were some young girls I was working with, and there was one that was not dressing appropriately. The moment the woman commented on her dressing, relationship has ended. Relationship has ended. But there are a number of things that are happening around us. Women who actually dress in a way as capital to go and influence the boss or the whatever. I mean, so if young women, if we are doing something that is not appropriate and we are told, please, let's take them in good faith and go along. So we need to be intentional, creating mentorship opportunities, building networks. I've spoken about that. Evaluate the impact of the mentorship. And then the young women to also support the process. All right. So best practices for the education. We actually wanted some information on STEM, but it is important for us to enhance awareness of gender issues in education, okay? Empower students through inclusive schools. Inclusive schools. So even in our school setting, we are finding how many boys, how many girls are participating. We are not leaving anybody behind. Institute gender responsive strategies and policies for staff. That's why there are the sexual harassment policies. Now, a lot on sexual exploitation and abuse. Preventive measures and response strategies are being put in place because people are also exploiting women for their emotional gain. You want a job, I want to sleep with you before. It's sexual exploitation. Sexual exploitation. We all need to know that these things are crimes. They are crimes. Create a gender responsive learning environment. Like this sanitary pads thing that we spoke about, the budget is providing for. A lot of people don't understand. There are places where women don't even have a place to change. I mean, how? So then when they are in their periods, what do they do? There was one plantation and factory that I went to that the women complained. So even when you go to the bush to wee, you think somebody is overlooking you through the plantation. I mean, let us be responsive towards some of these things. And then we need to establish some scholarships. Let's be intentional. Promoting STEM education, we create the opportunities, and then a general campaign. It's not just the state. In our own environment, let us encourage people to take the STEM programs, the science, technology, engineering, and maths. And then foster use of success stories. I believe there are people here who can share their stories, and then that will encourage some more people. Focus on leadership to promote women's empowerment. targeted leadership training. Women's leadership in business and corporate entities. And we need to understand and address systemic barriers to women's advancement. Time will not allow us to talk a lot about these things, but foster a culture of inclusivity. So from now, when the leaders are talking about the percentages of women and encouraging women, please let us all cooperate. Let us all cooperate. Equitable training opportunities for underrepresented groups. So let us look out which people are being left out and we bring them along. So life is a journey. Life is a journey. Let us use incentives to combat the gender stereotypes. I mean, how can somebody create a proverb like this? That you don't take decisions with women. I mean, how? How? So people grow up with this kind of thing. They go into organizations. The women are the heads. They find it very difficult to cooperate with them. Because right from their growing up, please. Leverage media campaigns to address the gender biases. A lot of things. And we ourselves, when you are somewhere and people are making those gender stereotypes, it is wrong. It is wrong. We should not participate in these kinds of conversations. So once again, I wish you a happy Women's Month. Let's march forward. And let's accelerate the actions so that we can see the fairness that we want amongst women and girls, boys and men. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very grateful. Very grateful. Thank you very much. Thank you. I guess we have questions. If you okay. All right. Okay, I hear we'll have a few questions. So, do we have some questions?
In one of the pictures that's deliberated on, very beautiful one, the woman was carrying a lot of loads and the men were just drinking. I don't think it's very fair. I think men will go through a lot of issues, even hunting for food for the house. So if we don't take care, there will be bias and women will now be pampered and men will not be considered that we are also going through a lot, but our skin is very tough, very mansunti, and so into be who say, suffer. So I think we must also identify that men go through a lot of mental, emotional, and physical struggles sometimes to just put food on the table. Now, you also talk about the sex roles which determine certain careers. Sex roles determine certain career positions. So sometimes also when the women are fighting for some positions, I think we need to be very balanced. How many women do we have in the military? Naturally, by their disposition, they cannot hold heavy guns and do certain things. So they will probably play a role at the background as nurses. In very occasional cases, you'll find women in the front line. Because naturally, they are not disposed to even killing. They are predisposed to nurturing, not killing. So to kill, a woman will kill and she may go through psychotic issues for the rest of her life. Number 3, our biological conditions make women naturally reserved. We have vast psychological differences between men and women, which I think must be studied for us to know the strength of women, psychological strength of men and women, to influence policy making. But if we look only at the physical, without looking at the psychological, if I were to ask everybody here that a man goes to the shop to buy 5 items, how many will he bring home? He will bring 5 or less. How many will a woman bring home? Maybe 100. But there are psychological good and bad reasons. So all these, I believe, need to be studied. And my final question is, in the imbalance, men were given outboard motors and women were given, I think, nets. So when women are now given free sanitary pads, what must be given to the men?
Oh my God. All right, thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your. Okay, starting from the last one. What men can be given? Condoms. Oh my God, I've never possible to drink water. You see, but when the state says I'm sharing condoms, you can imagine the level of promiscuity. So for the moral fiber, we'll hold on to the condoms for now. Yeah, I must thank you for the very first one. I wish to state here that women who don't inform their children the contribution of their fathers in the house, doing a big disservice to the children. And they themselves are endangering their own home environment. Please, let the children know your father did this. Your father gave us money for this. I beg. And it really makes the men sad. It makes the men very sad. So those of us who are not being very transparent and creating the posture that I'm the one who does everything, when you know you are not the only one, please, you are endangering your own home. That's number one. Number two, unfortunately, when things are not going on very well, you see the women trying a lot of other things. But like you said, the psychological makeup of the men is naturally to just slam back whilst the women are trying other things. We pray that men will be more proactive. More proactive. You should try other things. Try other things. Don't say this is my job, so if it's not going well, I just stick to that. No. No, it does not help the home. It does not help the home. On the defense matter, now we are even encouraging many more women to go into defense. What about the women who led the battles in the past? There were women who actually led battles. I remember one instance in the Bible, whether it was Deborah or so, called the men, let's go to fight. And then they were pulling back. I said, okay, we will go. When we go, you don't share in the glory. So there are times that women show their strength. We have different makeups, but let us help one another. That's all that I'm saying. Let's help one another. I think I've answered your question. So, all right. Do we have another?
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you, sir.
My name is Thomas Komlavonyo.
Okay.
I want to ask that women are not their own problem, because sometimes you would like to help, but they will never allow you to help. And sometimes ago, they shared some video in the northern part of Ghana, where women are accusing their own fellow women of being a witch and attacking the old lady. And this thing has been going on. Women will not take responsibility unless they are appointed. Local union in some companies, women will not get near to any position because they are afraid of tagging them, or they are afraid that their superior will tag them as will tag them as against their policy. So is the women not their own problem? That's what I want to find out, because that's what I see. Thank you.
All right. Women being their own source of their own problems. Thank you for the first part. Thank you. Women, you want to help them, they refuse the offer. Please, women, we can't do it all alone. You must count yourself blessed. When you have a husband who wants to support in the house, you should count yourself blessed. And don't create the impression that you are the Samson or the Hercules of the house. No. So appreciate the help. Appreciate the help. And where husbands are also helping, we should not go laughing at the husbands. I've spoken about that. We should not go laughing at the husbands. That's number one. Number two, women being their own source of their own problems at the workplace. I wish to plead with women. Where you are given a role in the office, time and targets. As for a child being sick, you have no control. Or elderly care. These days, elderly care is becoming very big. Or maybe a mother or a father. Quickly, you inform your boss that this and that and that and that has happened. I'll be very grateful if we can extend the time, or if somebody can help me or something. But you will not say anything at the time that the work is expected. That's when you come with the excuses. And then when your boss, woman, is talking about that, she should know. She should know what? What should she know? She was not in your house when the things were happening. So please, let us be mindful about these things. These days, your private issues in the house that are impacting on work are not private matter. They are not private matters. Please. And that is why we are coming up with flexible work schedules. And one of the benefits of COVID has taught us that people can work from home. They don't need to be in the workplace. But structures may have to be put in place. What is expected of you? What time is the delivery? And then these things are documented. The witch comes. I have worked at ActionAid. We worked on witch camps. And I must say that for a lot of the women there, the story, I'm not saying that witchcraft does not exist, though. Witchcraft exists. It exists. But for some of the women, the moment you start rising economically, then you are branded as a witch. And then taken out of the community. Jealousy and envy will not take us anywhere. Will not take us anywhere. If a woman is prospering, find out how she's prospering. How can I also benefit? we need to stand against those who are bombarded with these witchcraft accusations. This criminologist, the head of NIA, Professor Atefwa, if I tell you that when he was a child, his mother was giving that kind of accusation, will you believe it? He said it himself. We did a whole national dialogue on this witchcraft. He was there, he shared the experience. When he was growing up, if his mother had not taken action, what would Kenatifa would have been today? The following day, the mother took her basket and her implements as if she was going to the farm, went to the shrine, used her farm implement to pull down the gods there, finished and went to her farm. That was the action his mother took. What would have happened to this man today if that accusation had stood? So let us be careful. Let's encourage growth. Jealousy, envy will not take us anywhere. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, God bless you too.
I want to talk about, you see, the deep-rooted cultural, discrimination, which does not allow women themselves to believe that they can do anything and they can get anywhere. All of the things that we are talking about are manageable.
Yes.
But when you think about that one, I find I can see that it will take a whole generation, perhaps, to be able to change, that kind of mentality.
Yes.
And I also see that linked to that, you find out that even in the home, the mothers kind of discriminate. You can see it even in enlightened homes. We do it without realizing that we are making the woman, feel that she's not as strong or she's whatever, and it doesn't help. Even in places where people are enlightened and you can see the doctors and everybody, women going very far. There is that kind of discrimination. Then also, that thing in the psychology of women, that by all means they must be subservient to some man. It's nice to be married, but if you are not, you don't have that opportunity, it doesn't mean that you should sell your whole self. Some women allow themselves to be put into some types of, narcissistic relationships just because they want to maintain, a marriage. These are things that, actions, movements like what we are trying to do must really address.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll not get anywhere with it.
Yeah.
Then I would like you to talk a little bit more about the networking. I think I missed that part.
All right. So thank you very much. In this presentation, we spoke about the need to address the structural causes of the inequalities. So the more we have these programs, if it will take a generation without, and then if we are having, then it will take half a generation. It will be faster. That's why we need to do more of these things. My hope is that it will not be an annual ritual, but there will be times, even your women's meetings, You can have programs that people can actually interact and talk about their issues. But I must also say that we have lived with these things for centuries. Centuries. But these days we can facilitate the action. So let's all accelerate the actions. In our homes, what are we doing? The girls should go and do the cooking, the boys are playing ball. Those are some of the little things that we need to work at. And let it go across the line. I have a granddaughter. There were some toys that I was buying for her, and the woman, but I thought you said your grandchild is a girl. I said, yes, I'm buying for a girl. A girl should not be playing with only dolls and then the kitchen sets and the like. No. So you see, these are some of the things that we do. But gradually, your home, my home, within the church, then we can change the barriers. We can change the barriers. So I spoke about the meeting the strategic interest and removing the causes of the inequalities. Let us all work towards that. Amen.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
My name is Mrs. Duantete. Yes, talking about witchcraft. My mom, at the point in time, was branded witchcraft by my cousins, some close relatives. I tell you, it didn't take time for them to change, to come to us, loving her. Why? When my sisters were not comfortable with my mom interacting with those set of people, you tell you why. Don't you know, when you are intelligent, when people are doing things that would lead them into the ditch, and you tell them there's a gutter, you fall into it, then they don't mind you. And then really, they fall into the gutter, then they tend to call you a witch. I mean, he could not be bothered at all. He was so free doing everything. She could not be bothered.
Yeah, kudos to her.
Yes. And they all changed towards her. They all quoted her. They were bringing her gifts. They were visiting her. And that is, I believe, the spirit. That is the spirit.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you too.
And then, my second point is that we are telling the men to help women. I've had a situation when I've counseled young men to stop helping their girlfriends or their wives to be. There was this particular young gentleman. I realized that he'll come very excited to tell me what he's been doing to help the girlfriend, number one. Then the girlfriend, number one, will go. So what have you been doing? I've been cooking when he's sick. I've been washing for her. And I've been doing that. These days, the young women, are you here? They don't like that. They don't like men to be all over them. Surprisingly. They don't like it.
Yeah.
I've had the experience I'm shocked and surprised. Why? Why don't you like a man who is all over you, helping you, pampering you? Why? So this is something which is unfortunately happening. Yes, he loves me too much. He loves me too much. I'm uncomfortable with his love. It is so common. I've had the opportunity to counsel people. This particular young man, I said, no. He told me he's gotten a new girlfriend. I said, don't cook, don't wash for this new girl, okay? And I believed it worked for him. So that is the problem at hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes, ladies, we don't like too much of pampering.
Thank you, Auntie Joanne. Thank you very much. You see, what we are talking about is within the context of marriage. But in courtship, you go and you are doing this, you are doing what? Do you have so much time to spare? I mean, no. Courtship is to learn more about the person. to learn more about the person. And then you are also structuring a way forward. Why will you go doing all the washing, cooking as your love language? No. And I tell you, a lot of people have done that and they have fallen into circumstances that they didn't imagine. A lot of the time, it will lead you into premarital sex before you realize you are pregnant. Not married, but pregnant. Why? And you see, when you also allow yourselves to do that, particularly those who go on transfer, before you realize you have abandoned your wife at home and started other relationships. When you also do that, it is easy for a woman to trap you through pregnancy. Through pregnancy. Maybe you went for fun, but the woman was looking for a husband. And then at the end of the day, this is not the woman that I wanted to marry. Life imprisonment of a sort. We shouldn't do that. All over you. For me, it's also a red flag. It's a red flag. Because when somebody loves you to the max, and the person says, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Then you must also know that possibly the person has another agenda. Possibly the person has another agenda. You see this, your boo is your boo that CTFM did. Somebody was called. Said, oh, wallahi, I don't know the guy. I just don't know the guy. But during the program, the girl sent the man a text saying, oh, please, can I get some money to go and do my hair for the Valentine's Day? During the program, she's collecting the money from you to go and do the hair, but with another man. We really need to discern a lot of the things. And we should also not be in a relationship where every minute the person is calling you, where are you? What are you doing? I mean, what kind of life is that? No, it does not help. It does not. It's a big red flag. Issues of trust. I don't trust this person. So every minute you are checking where she is and what she's doing. Why? She has a right to freedom.
I would ask.
So please, we'll take this as the last. The last.
Last but one from the brother.
Okay. So we'll take the last from Daddy and Stan and
A comment and a question. And the comment is that, women are wise and they are very crafty. Sometimes a woman can scheme, in trying to tell her children exactly where to go and what they want. I mean, women are good at doing that. I mean, men are not too good. What is your comment on that? Sometimes these things end up in the children. I'm using the children. Children getting problems. Sometimes they turn and say, it was my mother who gave me the advice. Recently, my wife and I watched a play staged at the National Theatre, In the Chest of the Woman. Yeah. There are very useful lessons in that play that was staged. The background was that everything that the gentleman did was upon the advice of the mother. And any time the kinsmen came together to ask him questions, he would turn to the mother. The mother would say, hey, come on, keep quiet. What are you going to say? Just prompting so that he remains in that state in which the mother has put her. So your comment on that. Then the question is, what is your take on men advocating for men to take is it paternity leave they call it? When the women are on maternity leave.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's in Ghana in our jurisdiction, but I think it's something which we should advocate and ensure that it's done, because the women keep talking about the length of maternity leave, whilst silently the helper at home, being the men, are ignored in this regard. What's your comment on that.
Thank you very much. I must say that there are some organizations that have paternity leave. Some do have. They have paternity leave. But sadly, there was one organization that I worked with, and the men were surprised that the provision was there. They were surprised that the provision was there. They didn't know to take advantage of. So this is something that is being advocated, and we should all advocate for it. Paternity leave. You see, a woman who is always scheming with a child to do things, the child has right to freedom. That means that if you accept the right of the child for the person's parochial interest, you are not treating your child well. Every child should have a right to develop, express himself, herself. But then when the adult is living his or her life in that of another child, oh, it's so sad. If we are here and we are doing that, we should refrain from. We should refrain from those things. Sometimes people want vocations that they could not go through, and they want to leave it in the lives of their children. Why? So we should know. Leave people, we can only guide them. We can guide children, but not usurping their interests and their rights because of our interests. Why? It's not fair. It's not fair. Is it right? Papa lawyer? No, it's just not right. It's just not right. Yeah. Yeah, that no. Oh, okay. Papa
Okay.
Yeah.
Since Beijing, women are assuming the role of men in many areas, and I see a danger. Because when we have two men in the house, I don't know what it will be like. And whether in the home or in the office, it creates clashes because women want to also behave like men. And if women become men, I believe it will break society completely. Because we rather want more of the feminine energy. The masculine energy is about destruction and irrational action. So if women lose their power of management to become like men, just because we have physical brute strength, I believe we shall break society. I want your comment, therefore, on this, that women are for the kitchen. Biologically, they have a womb that is manufacturing food, manufacturing a child, manufacturing something. So physically and figuratively, women are for the kitchen, meaning they are the nurturers of life. The kitchen is a place where nurturing comes from. I believe what we need is the study of the psychological differences between men and women for us to respect the values each bring to the table. If I don't look down on women are for the kitchen, physically, because women are for the womb and nurturing, they love being in the kitchen naturally. So the quest that we shouldn't look down that because she's in the kitchen, then she's inferior. You also have your role that is also important. So if we can rather identify the values of women and men, and we respect all the values, because they are all important for life to run. So if you can accept that women are for the kitchen and respect women that as the nurturers of the family, then they are the most important role. They are having the most powerful role. And the same thing for the workplace. So it will tailor to the workplace where women are the nurturers of ideas. Give a woman the sperm, she'll give you a child. So we can know roles that women can play, what ideas women can have. And my last point is that listening to you, you're very intelligent and knowledgeable. How often can we have you here in a month?
I'm a phone call away. I'm a phone call away. First of all, we spoke about the sex rules. God in his wisdom made women to carry the pregnancy and also the baby feeding. Women are natures. Perfect. Perfectly said. Perfect. But research has also shown that where women are educated, they have fewer children, their children also do better in society. So we also don't want a society where we have women, because they have the womb, so off they go populating the world. No. We are also looking for not just quantity, but also quality. The other thing too is that we are looking for harmonious homes. Throughout, I've been talking about harmony in the home, harmony at the workplace. We have different strengths and opportunities. One organization that I did some work for, in one unit, there were only women. So I said, even when you do your policies, toss it by the men. Call them, say, oh, come and have a look. Because we see things differently. Call them. Male involvement in everything that we do. The nurturing will be juicier and nicer when the men are also in the kitchen. We are cooking, we are chatting. The children are seeing a loving relationship between a wife and a husband. He's also helping because life is dynamic, society is dynamic, things are changing. And now, I wish we don't have many here who have left the care of the family all to the women. Unfortunately, we are having a lot of such men. So then it makes the woman to be more burdened taking care of the family. It is important for us to realize that it is a union. But I must also quickly say that if within the union, the man is not treating the woman nicely, seeing that the woman also has some rights, right to leisure, right to expression, right to this, right to that, and things that, oh, I'm the autocratic leader of the house. It endangers the whole of society. One thing I always ask the men who are complaining that the women are taking the leadership roles, where was the leadership before the woman picked it? God has given it to you. God has given it to you. And those who are going to marriage, I ask them, what is the plan of the man for the marriage and the family in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time? If the man decides that I'm no more interested, I'm tired, I'm pulling out, what is your plan? What will be the life of the children? So you will see that a lot of the time, the women are doing far more than they should do. And the scripture we read, 1 Peter, giving her honor as the weaker vessel. But God has also given her the role of a helper and also the power of intuition. So as the men are bringing their logic, hey, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. The one say, oh, I feel that she can't give you all the basis. But if we realize our strengths and our weaknesses, working as a team, building on each other, we'll have a better society. Society that we all enjoy. And when we are gone, we know that there is peace. Women have their rights, the girls are blooming, boys are also blooming. Paul taught Timothy, taught Titus. How many men are mentoring men now? So I know we have created a new generation. Please, we want to share some sticky notes from this presentation, this engagement. I believe that a lot of us have got some new insights. I want you to write what, at least 2 things that you want to work on. Paste the sticky notes somewhere. In 6 months, how far have I gone? At the end of the year, what are my outcomes? Okay?
Bless you.
Yeah, God bless you too.
So mine is not a question, actually. It's a comment. And your presentation, my name is Nani Farokson. Your presentation and teaching today has actually made me appreciate who I am as an Etherean
Praise the
woman.
Lord.
As an Etherean woman, because as you're going through talking about gender, the roles and all those things, these are things that we were taught right from children class in Ethereum mission. Growing the empowered child makes you know who you are.
Yeah.
Going through your persona helps you identify who you are in your feminine, in your masculine, and that helps you to build relationship with the opposite gender. So, and even talking about sex, there was one comment that you made that if you are pushed to premarital sex, in Ethereum mission, we know that sex is for matured and responsible adults. So there's nothing like premarital sex in a way which is bad. Because if you are 42 years and you are not married, you can say that physiologically you shouldn't have sex. But if you have sex and you get pregnant, you know that you have a responsibility towards that divine child that you are carrying. So this, I just want to say that thank you very much for reminding us that we have something here in Ethereum mission. So we should continue to practice all the technologies that we've been taught.
Yes.
Go back to our children's class teachings, all the books, Growing the Empowered Child, E-led, Sex Communication, and Money, and help us build ourselves in our gender, in our persona, and relate with the world at large. Thank you.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of the church, we'd just like to say a big thank you for such an insightful presentation. God bless you.